welcome to our session. Might take you a couple of moments to find a position that you feel comfortable. I would like to practice a bit of a stillness in the beginning today. So cross-leg position is one. Maybe you want to have a bit of a support for your knees. Use the block. So try to settle in a most grounded position. So if your knees are high and you feel like you are wobbling, that might be a good position for you. And bring your hands on the knees, palms up, palms down, whatever feels more comfortable. Relax for your shoulders. Take maybe a moment to get length in your spine. Again, something not to be too rigid, but put a bit of an effort to hold yourself up straight. Maybe nod a couple of times to find the optimal position for the chin. So we know we love to lift the chin high, so maybe feel that you're dropping it a bit to create space on the back of your neck. And keep your eyes softly closed if you're comfortable. And take a couple of exhales first of all to establish the pace of breathing. So to get to the rhythm of it, very often we have to exhale the air that we're keeping in the lungs, and we're just letting the respiratory system to find a pace that's comfortable for us. So we shouldn't really worry about the pace. We should focus more on exhale only. And if you like, you can count your exhales. Noticing if with the time you can get your exhale a bit longer, but without holding the breath. So we don't want to come to the point when you sit without the air in the lungs. So after you establish your exhale, just maybe count also your inhale. The inhale should be shorter, so you don't want to over inhale. That's where anxiety comes, when we inhaling and not exhaling, and we just overwhelm our nervous system by that, our respiratory system by that. So focus on exhale, focus on grounding. So allow the legs, ankles, knees, hips, pelvis to receive some body weight that bringing you down toward the earth. And the same with your palms, with your forearms. Let them become a little bit heavier, and pull the shoulders down while you're still using a little bit of the core strength to maintain. But it's not nothing that you need to think about to engage in the core, just using what we have in the muscular system and the waist area to maintain your spine up straight. And we'll have another minute visualizing two spirals. Think of like a white spiral that air energy floats up toward the crown of the head from the ground, and then the blue one, you're just visualizing the spiral that energy drops back toward the hips. And use this visualization to get even more flowy pace of your breathing in very slowly, because if you when you're visualizing the spiral, right, it goes very slow. The spiral, it's not just whoosh, comes up or comes down, it's spiraling slowly. So let us have here 5 breaths in silence, just enjoying this ability to stop, breathe, and get the mind into this exercise. Next exhale, allow yourself maybe to open your eyes and let us sorry, release the legs. Maybe move your feet a little bit to release your ankles. Maybe go in a circular movements a couple of times. And if you use your blocks, you can bring them on the top of the mat, and let's bench the knees. And we'll come into the child pose, next one. So take your time, maybe you don't feel comfortable to flex your knees right away. So maybe go a little bit forward and backward till your knees accepting this flexion. And then stretch your arms in front, so that's an active child pose. Find your forehead coming toward the mat. Maybe moving hips from side to side. Walking the fingertips forward away from the shoulders. So here, take a time to create sensation of stretch along the spine. And check how your shoulders feels, how your chest feels here. Not all of us able to bring the forehead down to the floor, maybe. So do your best. We will warm up the shoulders in a moment. Here, and then let us come into the tabletop position, and we'll go into cat and dog stretch. Again, using the breath as a guide, so we hopefully established a nice pace that we will use here to help us to move. Make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders. Focus in each part of the spine, so trying to segmentate and connect to all three parts, and make sure that you're moving all three parts from flexion into the maximum of extensions. And then we'll come into neutral position, and we'll take the right arm up. So a bit of a stretch on the chest, and then bring the arm under the chest. So adjust the hand, left hand for support. Maybe slightly press yourself backward. Feel a bit of a twisty, stretchy sensations around your right shoulder. And hold here. Another breath. And then we'll come up and we'll do the same on the left. So taking the left arm up, and maybe have a hold here, maybe a little bit of a pulsing, and then bring the arm under. Readjust your head, readjust your hand, and push yourself backward. Feel some stretch on the back of the shoulder. Taking the breath here, and then we'll come back into tabletop position. And let us prepare two blocks to be in front, like in a child pose. Just think where your palms will end up in the child pose. But in this time, it's going to be puppy pose. So your hips will remain high. And we will go one at a time. We're going to bring the right palm to the block. And think not going with the hips toward the heels, but think of sliding the block away and bringing the forehead down. So finding where the left hand should be. And allow yourself to reach width of the chest down toward the floor, opening a bit to the front of the right shoulder, creating a very gentle back bend. The back bends that we're coming with the head down are usually easier for us than when we're dropping the head back, right? We discussed this several weeks ago about non-functionality in the back bends. That is really hard for our nervous system. So here, we're forcing thoracic spine in extension, but it's much more comfortable because we having the head down toward the floor, with the face down, right? And let us release, and we'll do the same with the left. So bring the left hand to the block, and then just slide the block forward and bring the shoulder down. So keeping the hips high, so you should feel some extension in the lower back, a lot of extension in the mid back here, and probably your shoulder not touching the floor, but forehead should come there, and hold. Emphasize your exhale here, getting the chest down. So keeping the elbows straight. And let's have here 3 more exhales. We held pretty long on the right side, so let us use the same amount of time, same duration on the left, and let us come. So maybe the blocks right now is too far, so bring them slightly closer to you, and bring both palms to the block, and this time slide both blocks forward and come down. So 2 arms might be a little bit harder, more restrictions in thoracic spine and shoulders, so do your best. But I would invite you to keep your elbows as straight as you're able. So even if it means that your head is not touching the floor, so you might not be able to go with the head down. And feel the shoulders here. Taking another exhale, and then let's slide the blocks a bit closer, and let us give the shoulders a rest. Bring your knees together. You don't need to go low with the head. Just bring the arms on the sides and round your spine, and relax your shoulders. Palms facing up will give you this internal rotation of the shoulders. And then we'll come on the belly line position, so blocks can stay in front of the mat. So come into the belly line position, and you can watch me first. So we'll come into the scorpion pose. So we're gonna bring the left arm in T position, using the right hand to press. We'll bend the right knee, and we'll try to touch the floor with the big toe. You might want to use the block like a pillow here to maintain your neck straight. Hold maybe 3-5 sec, and then change. Go on your own pace, and I want you to do 5 times to each side, and hold around 3 to 5 sets. So bend your knee. So you want to have your knee pointing up toward the ceiling. So we're involving a little bit of a hip opening here as well, together with the shoulder press, okay, shoulder stretch, okay? So 3-5 sec on one side, then go slowly through the center, and go to the other side. So I'm letting you to find your pace, letting you to find your movement, letting you to find your edge, how much you can open the hip, where the edge for the shoulder here. And that's also warming up our lower back as well. Right, so it's a great warm-up exercise for whatever you are doing. So remember that the arm could be in a bit different position, but warming up the legs behind and twisting the spine is a great warm-up. So we'll go for the last one. I hope somewhere here you on your 3rd rep. So go with each leg at a time. And when you're ready to complete this warm-up, you just come on the belly, and we'll lift the torso back into the tabletop position, and then find your downward dog. So step your hands forward, tuck your toes, lift the hips, and come into the downward dog. Bring the head between the arms, maybe walking your dog a couple of times pressing the heels toward the floor. Practice here bending the knees a lot and trying to push the mat away, and then maybe bringing the knees a little bit straighter. So again, don't be rigid. Allow yourself to move and experiment where the right position for you, and then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. We will hang here, just move the arms a little bit, and then we'll come up into standing position. Exhale. Okay, so we're on the front of the mat. We definitely feel a lot of an opening in the shoulders here, so it's really easy for us to hold them palms facing front, having those external rotation here, and the lower back should be also warm. So we'll go through a couple of sun salutations here. With inhale, lift the arms up, and then hinge forward into the fold. Make sure you're releasing the head. Don't tense the neck. Slide the hands slightly below the knees. Come into half fold. And then plant the hands to the floor. Step your feet into plank, but drop the knees down to the floor. So take a moment here to have this half plank, and make sure that your shoulders are not moving backward from the alignment with your wrist, and your hips not going toward the heels. It feels like you're actually coming forward, and tuck the tailbone under. So find your pelvic tilt, engage your lower abdomen, and then even going more forward with the shoulders. Try to keep your forearms 90 degrees to the floor. Release the torso down. Point the toes, adjust your hands to be on the sides of the rib cage, and then come into very, very baby cobra. Keep your neck neutral here, and make sure that shoulders are moved backward. So find this external rotation of the shoulders. Feels like you're pulling yourself forward and stretching the chest. And then press yourself up. Have a moment in a cat stretch. Tuck your toes and come into the downward dog. Let's hold this downward dog for another 5 breaths, and focus on exhale, that you're sending your seat bones up and back, trying first of all to get this length in the spine, stretching the back muscles, and of course you feel stretch in the hamstrings. Look forward, walk toward the front of the mat. Hang here for the breath, and then slide your hands up below the knees again. Come into the half fold, and then unfold into standing. Exhale, bring the arms on the sides of the hips. Let's go again. Inhale, lift the arms up. Hinging from the hips all the way down, releasing the head, making sure that you're not locking yourself standing on the heels. Slide your hands below the knees. Come into half fold. Work with your neutral position here. So try not to be with the rounded lower back. And then press the hands to the floor again. We're going to step into plank, but we're going to drop the knees. So today I want to focus on this movement with the shoulders forward. So get your shoulders aligned with your wrist, and then move forward, 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 forward. So when you're ending up on the floor, hands are on the sides of the rib cage. And now before your back bending, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades, but keep your legs, glutes engaged, lift the chest up. And again, I want you to think of a pulling effect, like you want to pull yourself forward. So like base of the palms going toward the hips, and you press in chest forward in your back bend, and then press up into the cat stretch and come into the downward dog. Exhale. I gotta make sure you're keeping the neck long, maybe even shaking the head. That's always good. If you find that you want to move your dog, still feeling a bit tightness on the back of your legs, definitely can do that. And then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway, And then we'll unfold all the way up into standing. Exhale, bring the arms on the sides of the hips. Let's come into chair pose. So remember that it's not bending the knees, it's sending the hips back. It's a hip hinge. And we'll bring the arms in front and turn the palms up toward the ceiling here. And then start lifting the arms up, maintaining straight elbow, and think of pulling the shoulder blades down. Don't extend through the lower back. Control it here. So you don't need to go high. You can be here, 45 degree. And then bring the palms together. Send your hips up and come into fold. Release the head down. Exhale. This time we'll step into the plank. We're going to drop the knees for a sec. Making sure that shoulders are above the palms. Tuck the tailbone under. Tuck the toes, and we'll lift the knees off the floor. So holding the plank and pushing, and then dropping the knees. Moving shoulders forward and slowly with control coming down. Having the hands on the sides of the ribcage. If you need, adjust it. Roll the shoulders back, pointing toes. Lift the chest. And now here, think of pulling yourself forward. And then go through the cat stretch maybe into the downward dog. Just for one exhale. And then look forward in the space between your palms. Maybe readjust your left foot to come a little bit closer to the midline. Squeeze your right thigh to your chest and then throw this right foot forward into lunge. If you're stuck, that's fine. Grab your ankle, move it forward. Assess that you're using the back leg for support. Lift the torso up. Take a moment here to ground yourself in this lunge. So I want you to avoid bringing the body weight to your front knee. Find the back leg. And let's bring the left arm to the front and the right arm as far into extension as you can. And then we'll change. And just move. You can lift the arm even higher to the full flexion here. So move the arms. Let's have maybe another 2 each arm. And then we're going to bring the arms parallel to the floor and turn the palms facing each other. And we're going to take the arms wide and just move them, press them back as far as you can, but don't drop them. Try to be with the shoulder level. And then bring the hands on the floor and slide the right foot back into plank. Push the floor and then drop the knees and come down. Trying to not to shrug the shoulders. If it's happening, readjust here on the floor, back, and come into the cobra. Pulling yourself forward. So it feels like you want to slide forward. And then come through the cat stretch again into the downward dog. Exhale. Stepping the right foot a little bit closer to the midline. First, you just really try to bring the thigh to the rib cage. And then look between your hands. Step your left foot forward. If you're stuck, just grab the ankle and move. Find back leg. So when you're coming up, you're already using the back leg for support. Come here, ground yourself, and then bring the right arm in front and left arm into extension. And then again, we're going to go into those flowing movements with the arm. You might go with a full arm up into the flexed position, the other arm into extended position. Feel like you come into the edge. Maybe go in 2 times each arm. And then we're going to bring the arms back to the front, bring them into the T, and make a fist. Make a fist, and this time we will go into internal and external rotation here. So turning the fist up and down and working on the full range of the shoulder, engaging the core. That's helping us to stay here and manipulate with the arms. And one more time, both sides, and then hands on the floor. Step into plank, push the floor, and then find yourself all the way down. Exhale. Hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back. Again, think of pulling yourself forward. And then exhale, come into the downward dog. So let's hold this downward dog for 5 breaths. And I want you to be focused on sensation in the shoulders. So we warmed up the shoulders. We used all the position that available for us, and feel how you having this arms on the sides of the head. So trying to have a full flexion here for the arms, and at the same time in control of your shoulder blades here. So try not to shrug the shoulders, and then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Slide your hands just below the knees, and then transfer yourself into the chair pose. So from there, fold forward. All what's happening is the body weight goes toward the heels, and you drop the hips a little bit, maintaining the straight spine. Bring the arms in front. Turn the palms up. Think like you are lifting something, but no extending. So trying to keep it neutral and coming all the way up. And release the arms. Exhale. Great. Let us take a block. And I want you to just hold the block on your palm. And we will try to move the block back and forward. Sometimes it's easy to hold the block like perpendicular position. That's just giving us a little bit more space. So you would go with the block under the armpit, come in a full external rotation, full internal rotation. Yes, very good. So here restrictions could be also a little bit in the wrist. Do your best. Have a maybe pause under the armpit when you transfer. Yeah, we found that. So let us move to the other arm. So bring the block on the palm, and then we'll move it back and move it front. So finding the rotation of the shoulder, elbow straight. Great warm up here, great warm up for the wrist as well. Maybe one more time. And now I want you to take both blocks and here go into some random movements. So really go it above the head. You can also, you find in here that to move two, you need also to move your torso. So going into those movements. Try to find a circle. It's like you're making 8 with each arm, but in the random sequence. So see if that's happening to you. See where restrictions comes. Is it shoulders? Is it wrists? Is it spine? You might start with one arm first, like going like 8 with one arm. Then maybe trying to go 8 with the other arm. For me to find the left arm movements is much harder. I have a less coordination on my left side. But it's great to practice, and then see if you can start going opposite direction with the blocks, with the left and with the right. It's a fun move, right? I'm pretty sure you're enjoying that. So maybe also go here and go symmetrical, right? This is also possible. A little bit of a fold forward. You find it now when we're doing both arms, we need to involve the torso to compensate some restrictions. See, here we probably can't do it totally symmetrical, but you can take it over the head and move it here. Very good, very good. Even I understand that this might be a challenge, but you're trying, and that's good. Okay, maybe one or two moves, full or half, whatever feels right for you. And let's release. And that's a little bit of a break for our mind to go into the very strict, very controlled alignment of the body. And now we're going into the triangle pose. So stepping the feet wide. And here we want to be really perfect in our alignment. And perfect, it means what the body allows us. Thinking of why we're practicing triangle. So first of all, I want you to find both feet grounded. A back foot turned forward a little bit. And we're gonna bring first block to the right hip, and we're kind of folding over the block, lengthening here, trying to keep, so you don't need to go low. You can be pretty high here as long as your spine is straight. We're going to then bring the block that we are folding over into the left hand, and we will try to progress to touch the block on the floor with the tip of the fingers. And then I'm inviting you to take your block up and flex your palm and press the block up toward the ceiling here. So, and bring your gaze up toward the block on over the head, and continue to press. Find a little bit of like a work for the strength work for your left shoulder. Press it up, press it up. And I'm pretty sure you feel yourself much more aligned here. You're not because you're holding the block, your left shoulder is not folding forward, right? And that's a great alignment here. A lot of a core work. Release this left block and come up, and let's go to the other side. Turn the foot in, turn the left foot out. So one block comes inside the left foot. We'll bring the other block into the hip, and I'm using the really to push this hand into the block into the hips, and hips travels to the opposite direction, and then fold. Don't go right away into maybe a low fold here. I don't want you to collapse in the waist area. It's in the hip. And then bring the block to the right hand, reach with the left hand, and see if you can bring this right block up into the palm and press. Focus on the arm into the air. Pressing the block, pushing the hips to the opposite side. Because we really pressing that, we're using a lot of a core strength, I hope. And press. Figure out how you can use those muscles around your right shoulder. Okay, give you a couple of more moments here to practice that. And then release and go facing the right foot. So we still enter this lunge position. And we'll drop the left knee down to the floor, finding the low lunge here. And again, we're going to practice a very similar. You can observe me first. So I'm having my left hand on the block. If you need to go high position, more than welcome to go high position. And we'll bring the block into the right thigh first, and we'll twist first. And as I twist, I'm thinking of sending my left shoulder forward and taking my right shoulder back. And then I'll try to do the same. I'm going to bring the block into the flexed palm and going to press the block up while I'm sending the left shoulder forward. Pressing the block up. That might help you to get more rotation in your torso. Press. Yes, if you have a challenge to have the flexed palm, yes, you can hold the block and just think of sticking the block toward the ceiling. So if you don't have a flexion in your wrist, if this is restricting you, and work just here. And let's release the right arm. Let's come into this child pose with the arms on the blocks. Just release the spine after this intense twist. Take a breath. And then we'll step the left foot forward, bringing the block aligned with the right knee. And it's not touching the left foot. You have a space here. Start sending, so before you lifting the arm, start sending the right shoulder forward. So find first rotation. So the variation here is just to hold the block and press it up, or if your wrist allows you, try to find the flexed wrist. And push, push. So focus on pushing from the shoulder and see how that helping you to maybe twist a little bit more to have a little bit of an edge. And then let's release. Again, we'll have a bit of a rest here with this variation of the child pose. Pressing. And then let us bring block under the palms. Sorry, as the tabletop position. So if you're finding that you have too much for your wrist already in flexed position, you can always kind of grab the blocks in front, right? So that's going to give you a little bit of a release of your wrist if you need. Otherwise, you're aligning the shoulders above the wrist and will come into retraction and protraction of the shoulder. So squeeze the shoulder blades and then puff the space. And I'm coming to this movement again and again because I am observing in the classes that I teach how challenging this movement in 80% of students. So only students that practice with me for some time really easily come into this position. Otherwise, I'm coming and I'm bringing my hand between the shoulder blades and explaining and just really poking into muscles that have to be engaged to activate this movement. So squeezing and not dragging and pushing. And let's have this push. So push and hold. I want you to make sure that your shoulders are above the wrist and you feel, when you push, you feel your triceps here pushing. You feel those muscles on the sides, outer edge of the shoulder blades pushing, and you're keeping the neck parallel to the floor. Okay, and then let us rest here. Bring the arms on the sides of the feet, turning the palms up toward the ceiling and letting the shoulders rest. A lot of shoulder work today, and we'll need to give a bit of a rest. The shoulders love to be in this internal rotation, so we keep it there. And then we'll come again into the low lunge, stepping the right foot forward, and we'll work a little bit on the ankles here to start with. So progress with the knee forward, flexing the ankle here, and just hold, using your hands and hold here, so as far as you can. Don't let the heel to come off. Keep the heel down, and restrictions here in two places. It could be ankle and it could be knee. So sometimes your ankle is very flexible, but you just feel too much compression in the knee. And I want you to think of your coming off the chairs, coming off sofas. That's what very often happening. We're bringing too much weight on the knee, and that's where the knee problems comes with age, as we overworking with the quad, bringing too much on the knees, and we're not working on the back of the leg. But some people like disconnected from the posterior chain completely, and we will just stretch the hamstring today. We're going to send the hips back, and we'll flex the foot, pulling the hip back, and just feel the stretch on the hamstring. So keeping the chest pretty high, you can have your blocks high and fold forward. So it feels like you're pulling the hip back, lengthening forward, keeping neck long. Nice stretch for the hamstring. And we will change by stepping the left foot forward and progressing forward as far as you can, having the heel on the floor, and just notice how you really bring a lot of a weight on your knee. Yes, here we want to flex the ankle. We want to create some stretch. All right, we exercise in ankle, but to do that, how much we need to bring the body weight on the knee. That's why we are using the blocks, because we don't want to collapse really on the knee and overwhelm it. Here is a bit of the flexion for the left ankle. Of course, you feel the stretch in the right hip. That's also good. Okay, and then let us move the hips back, move the blocks back, flex the foot and fold forward. Keep your shoulders relaxed, so stretch it here. Okay, and then slide your left foot to be closer to the block. So you are here. Move the blocks a little bit wider and bring your right foot. And then take your toes wide and drop your hips down into Malasana. You can bring the blocks in front if you need for support. Otherwise, so separate your heels to the way that your heels are coming to the floor. Yes. And here I give you a bit of a, like, for those who have a trouble, you can actually place your block under your seat bones and you can sit. So let's everybody try that. So get the edge under the seat bones. And now just work with your heels to position that you feel comfortable. And I want you to avoid rounding down. So do your best. If you can't bring your elbows inside the knees, you can hold the knees and try to open the chest. So yes, should be a lot of a stretch around the sacrum, the base of the spine. Yeah, so this is the variation of Malasana. If you have a trouble to bring your heels down to the floor in Malasana, block will be your friend here, and you can have this nice stretch for the hips. And let us just move forward, remove the block if you had one, and drop your hips down to the floor into seated position. Okay, and we'll come today into the shoelace on the knees. So I'll remind you how we go here. So we're bringing one knee on the top of the other and taking toes out. And you again might use block under the seat bones to support. So you come in here, shoelace, you all know that we usually practice in this on the back. It's a little bit easier. So yeah, so come here. So look, you have your straight legs, you cross one leg on the top of the other, and then you bend in the bottom knee, and then you're using core to bring the body weight forward. So you're having a moment here with the hands in front of you, finding where legs goes, and then you're using the block to sit. It might be very, very restricted. You can have two blocks, you can use bolster. So let us start here with a tall spine, and bring your hands on the knees. So that's kind of give you the sense of where the midline of the pose. Yes, it's not really a shoelace when your toes goes parallel to the front edge of the mat. I'm not able to practice like that. My bottom leg is kind of under the hip, but you also feel that you are maybe collapse into the left hip, so try to ground the right hip as much as possible. And now intensity comes when you fold forward. And just bring your hands symmetrically on the sides of the knees. Drop the head down and allow nice stretch along the right side, but you're really compressing your hips. So we very often working on stretching the hips, opening the hips, but very often any work for the joints comes with compressing them and then stretching, and then suddenly you feel the release. So here we have quite a lot of compression in the hips. It's very uncomfortable. And now I would invite you to try to relax within this uncomfort as much as you possible. So don't worry about force into something that you think you should be, but try to relax within this uncomfort. And here the breath will be a great help for you. We'll have here 5 more exhales. I know you want to get out. You want to get out, but let us just hold. Another exhale. And then come up and release. So you can remain on the block if you used one, and just release your legs and shake them. And then we go to the opposite side. So crossing one knee on the top of the other, and you need to come off the block to slide the one knee inside the other as close as you can, taking toes wide, and then try to bring the hips back. It might feel absolutely different, definitely feels much tighter. And we're going to start just aligning the body on the center here. And let's just let your right hip to get used to be in this internal rotation. Right hip right now uncomfortable. Right hip is crying to you. Let me out from here. So the bottom hip, that's where you feel more. And intensity comes when we're coming forward, dropping the head, and we'll hold here for a minute. So try to focus on release, grounding, surrendering into this uncomfort. Make sure you're not tensing your left shoulder. The left shoulder might compensate this uncomfort in the right hip. We'll have here 5 more exhales. Find yourself coming up. Release your legs, and we'll come into the line on the floor position. We might use the blocks for support of the leg. So keep them in reach, and just allow yourself first relax. So the spine was in a little bit awkward position because of the hips. So maybe you want to windshield your knees from side to side, releasing the hips. But we're going to continue with some hip work here. We'll extend the left leg, and first I want you to interlace the hands on the top of the right knee, compress the thigh into the chest, and then allow yourself to go into the circular movement with your knee. So opening the knee to the side, and then maybe even touching the floor with the toe, that's fine. And slightly going across the body. It's okay to lift the hip off the floor. And go maybe 5 in one direction. And then 5 in the other direction. So that's exactly what I mentioned earlier. After the compression, we want to explore some mobility. And go opposite direction, yes. And yeah, just feel how the thigh bone moving, the hip socket. And after the 5 with the bent knee, we will try to take the leg up, and you can bring the arms in T position for more grounding. And we're going to go into circular movement now with the full extended leg. and allow yourself to go till the bigger circle you're able to perform. When you go across the body, yes, allow a bit of the hip to come off the floor, but keep your shoulders down. So here, when the leg is almost touching the floor, this is a bit of a lower abdomen work, right? And here, a little bit of the inner thigh work, and go 5 one direction, and then start with a small, and then increase and go 5 in the opposite direction. So creating this full range for the hip. Keeping shoulders on the floor, so try not to roll off the floor for the shoulders. But hip, yes, hip will have to come off. And after 5, you will bend the knees and rearrange the pelvis on the floor. And we'll go with the left. So first we'll extend the right leg and bend the right knee and press the knee into the chest and go with a circular movement with a bent knee. So always when you feel that a straight leg, if we're practicing only straight leg and you feel it's too much for you for the moment, you can also always alternate with a bent knee. So 5 times one direction and 5 times the other direction. And of course, we will then extend the leg and arms come into T just for more support. And we'll go with the circle of the foot, increasing that to the biggest one we're able to perform. Five times go one direction and then alternate as well. The simplest mobility work for the hips you want to give yourself. You can hurt yourself, you're only exploring the range. And when you're done, again, we're going to bring the feet down to the floor, rearrange your hips, and then we'll bring the knees to the chest, bring the soles of the feet together, and come into Supine Baddha Konasana. So again, external rotation of the hips. You can bring the elbows into the thigh. A bit of a more passive stretch for the hips and inner thighs, and you can transfer that into happy baby. Shins are perpendicular to the floor, shoulder blades down, and you will try to keep your lower back flat. Shoulders away from the ears. We'll take here another 3 breaths or so. And then let's release the feet. You're welcome to keep the feet slightly apart. Your choice to practice here, arms in T position, and we'll come into very gentle twist. So finding your knees going to the left, and you experiment here with anything that's working. That's where the blocks might be handy. You might bring the knees together and rest the shins on the block. That's one of the variation. The knees could be apart. You can give even the right leg straight position. Anything that feels right, ground your right shoulder. You can turn the head to the right. Exhale. And then let us bring the feet back to the floor, rearrange the hips, and depend on how you practice. I practice with the blocks, so I bring the blocks to the right side and both knees comes together and shins supported by the blocks, and turn your head to the opposite side. But it could be a very, very personal position for you. Whatever you feel is right. We had quite a lot of work for the hips in the second part of the practice, so maybe it feels nice to let the hips rest and keep them just in a very comfortable flexed position, knees together. And then bring the feet back to the center, rearrange the hips, and then extend your legs and find position for Shavasana. Maybe shaking the body a little bit. And with all the work that we perform for shoulders and hips, take a couple of moments to settle the shoulders and hips, and as you set in your legs, especially heels, notice how you might feel like you have more space in your hips and you're taking your heels a little bit wider, letting the toes fall apart, moving palms a little bit away from the hip. And let's here practice stillness without forcing the body to be in any position, without forcing the breath to be in a certain pattern, keeping the mind in observative mode, with not letting the mind to make decisions, discussions, not putting any questions. Just stay here and now. And then when you're ready to move back, move fingers, roll wrists, roll ankles, bring the knees to the chest, rock from side to side, and finding your way to come to one side and into the seated position. Finding first your calm and grounded pose, and then bring the hands in front of the heart. Admit the end of the practice. Thank yourself for being able to be on the mat and take the positive energy that you generated within to be a guide for the rest of the day. Namaste.